Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tis Hitters. My name's Kurt Conley. You're here with Cryptofy today, the 11th of December. I can't believe we're flying through so quickly. Mr. Nissen, how are you today?
Yeah, doing good. Doing not too bad. I've got a bit of a sore neck from looking at all these
Oh,
screens for the last
come
4 days.
on. You need to have some rest.
No,
It's
I'm
been a
doing
busy
really well.
week.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
it
a really
has.
busy week.
It definitely has. It's been
Okay,
awesome.
yep, so let's jump into it. So we only have limited time to get through this information for you guys. So as always, we always go over the disclaimer. Everything we do in these videos, the content covered is not financial advice. That goes for our Discord, our Facebook, our Twitter, all across our social platforms. Your money, your decisions. These are just trades that we're currently looking at, and it's our speculation on what's happening in the market. So please always remember that and trade responsibly. Let's have a look at what we did over the week and the wrap up of the trades that we've covered. So this week, we're actually going to do a 2 week snapshot because we have covered a lot in the last 2 weeks. Usually we just do a quickly week wrap up and what the entry was, what the current set value was, and what the high was for that particular trade. But in the last 2 weeks, there has been a decent number of winners. So we are just going to quickly go over the snapshot for that. I'm not going to talk about the entries and exits. I'm just going to summarize here. So INJ, we talked about, I think that was Monday last week, 96%, still currently holding around that value as well. Unify was an absolute beast. Everyone knows what we think about Unify. It's a long-term hold for us. It also was one of the secret token drops. So 281%. AXS was the call that was made on Friday, sitting at 46%. And XVS plus 50% was our other secret token that we talked about. So they're all holding really strong. DOT still negative 7%, but I'm still looking at some stuff on DOT. There still could be some potential with DOT, but that's what the snapshot looks at right now. So Rev, I mean, pretty good last couple of weeks with those particular trades.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Injective was a really great trade, especially not being one of the secret drops that we had, but you could see it. And we spoke about the tokenomics of it and how low the supply was as well. Really great week. To see some good trades like that all together, and you can see within our Discord as well how hyped everyone is and how happy everyone is because we caught some really good trades there, and there's a lot more to go. But we've been building that up through TIS hitters and showing that the market is growing. We had like 8 to 10%ers, 20%ers, 30, 40s, and now we have some in the hundreds just from TIS hitters. So just to clarify, INJ there is from a TIS hitters. It's not even a secret token. AXS is from TIS hitters, and then the two secret tokens is UNFI and XVS, which you can see what the numbers they've done, and DOT was just a TIS hitters one. So TIS hitters is definitely like showing you guys that TIS can be really powerful if you know what you're looking for and if you have a system that you're following. So, hopefully, fingers crossed, we keep it up and we keep catching even 20, 30% because that's incredible to be catching them in a week.
Yeah, and if you think about it, back in earlier TIS hitters, maybe probably going back like 2 or 3 episodes, there was a few that were firing, but we probably weren't hitting some of these trades as good as we're catching at the moment. But it was also the market conditions. We've talked about CryptoStat and some of the data we see on CryptoStat, and the buyers percentage is moving up, and some of the stuff that's happening in the market. So like it's sort of like 2, 3 weeks out, and then stuff starts to come to fruition.
Yeah,
So it was really interesting, and it was actually quite rewarding to be able to talk about that a few weeks ago, and then see some of that stuff come through.
for sure. No, definitely an awesome time. And just a reminder while we're on the video, while people can interact with us in this way, just don't FOMO. Take it easy, and we've made that really clear. You might see me drop some gifts and stuff. That's just me, having some fun. Really, at the end of the day, always remember to take some profits and have profit points that you're happy with. Be content at the end of the day because it's not like everyday markets don't do this. You don't get these sort of numbers, especially on a spot trade. We're talking about spot. We're not talking about leveraging anything or anything like that. These numbers are ridiculous at the end of the day, especially for the market that we're in right now, because we haven't really even built up to anything. So, just always be content and understand and sort of manage your risk as well, I guess, at the end of the day is what I'm trying to say here. And just have a level head. That's
Yeah,
the
I
most
don't think
important thing.
I don't think these numbers will be ridiculous in 2021. Would you tend to agree with me there, Rev?
I feel with our data, yes, I do agree with what you just said. But
We
you
might
guys,
have to, we might have to move TIS hitters to 5 days a week in 2021, but who
Cryptofy now can see who the level-headed one is.
knows? Okay, let's jump into today's TIS hits. So we've got a couple for you guys to talk about today. So these are the ones that we've been reviewing. Okay, so 11th of the 12th. First one is CRV. I have seen some people talking about CRV. There's been a bit of talk about it on Twitter. We don't actually cover fundamentals or anything in these particular videos. These are just quick videos to get the information to you guys for what's coming through on TIS and the data that we're looking at. So CRV, CMC ranking on that is 119. It's currently sitting at around 56 cents, 3,155 sats. So CRV looks like it's bottomed here, but it could have a potential touch of 2,660 sats. That would be a pretty good entry if you could get that. However, we could also go from the upside here and make a breakout, and the breakout looks around 5,400. Current volume on CRV is 88 Bitcoin. It has had 3 notifications come through on TIS into Discord, all buy notifications. So the rating for this is around that 6 out of 10 mark. So let's jump into a chart, Rev, and let's go over some TA.
Yeah, for sure. And the reason why we've gone for 6 out of 10 for this is when CRV first dropped, it had some good track record with TIS. But lately it's just been sort of stagnant. You know, it's been saying, oh, I'm going to go for a buy, I'm going to go for a sell. Sort of similar price ranges. So that's the reason why we're going for 6 out of 10. But as long as it starts building up and then we get to understand what it actually wants to do, and then we'll have a better idea. So 6 out of 10 for now. We look at it right now, it's at 3,130 sats. Volume still at 88. The price change is negative 7.9%. Volume change has dropped off by 14%. Buyers change as well is not looking good in the last 24 hours. But if we look at the tokenomics of it, they're not that great. You can see we have 145 mil circulating, but a total of 1.35 billion. And the all-time high of it was at $54, which is quite crazy. This is probably on when it launched. I can probably put my a bet on that. That's on August 14th. That's probably when it dropped at $54.
Yeah, it would have been.
And you have that crazy week when they first list, and it's pretty much bots, and there's nothing in the way. There's no liquidity. It's just stupidity. But yeah, 56 cents at the moment, ranked 118. So we'll bring that up and see where it's at. Bring up the chart and have a look. And that 2660 entry, like I said, it could potentially touch it. Like you said, Kurt, it could potentially touch it, but be careful with it as well. So let's look in the hourly. Yeah, there it is. It's on listing as well. So, but it did come from a quite high, 50,000 sort of sat range right here. Tried to push that, and now we're talking about 3,000 sats, and we're talking in September. So that's a big drop, right? That's a huge drop. And we can see the low there at 2,222 sats or so, the 2,200 sat range. But the 2.6 is around, where was it that we were looking at? We were using this here and this here as a potential holder. Now, if you were to fall, this kind of comes into play as well at 2.8. But if we were to fall in that range and sit sideways and not really break through under, it'd be a good buy-in. But even around here is a decent, pickup on it, especially considering where it is. It just depends on when does it really want to go. And we haven't really identified it because TIS has been saying, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. And it's like, oh, TIS, tell me when. Like, I want to see it, get it to pop, So we need the volume to really kick in on it. That's on an hourly perspective. If we look at a 4 hourly, I think you get a clearer picture as well. But we were laughing about this, right? We were laughing about this before. We were like, oh, well, let's do the technicals on this. There it is. Yep, let's move on to the next one, right? Because it's just, look at that. It's come from such a long way to where it is right now. And the upside is a lot more than what the downside can be. So even if you were to grab a little bit, it wouldn't hurt as a little bag. And you can see here, this is what really tells us, okay, there's an indecisive market. The MACD has built up all the way through, even with it, coming sort of down and consolidating. And in the consolidation range, the MACD is continuously growing on a daily. And then this snapshot here, right here, is where the indecision is happening. So, some people might take this trade as it rides along the 25-day MA, or even touching the 100-day or 99-day MA. Maybe if it breaks out of and consolidates over, people will buy in. But definitely look out for it because this could be a pretty good trade out of out of a bottom. And that's what we all want to catch bottoms. So this could be a potential bottom for CRV. But there really isn't much more than that to be looking at. But if we look in the lower time frames, once again, there isn't really much to be looking at. It's just look for that entry, find a decent entry, find one that you're happy with, and then go with that.
Another thing I wanted to iterate here as well, Rev, is that you were talking about that, TIS is saying, here's a notification for a buy, here's a notification for a sell. When you see those things, that is a really good dollar cost average indicator from what we look at, So like
Sure.
people, it doesn't mean, oh, today it said buy, tomorrow it means sell. Okay, I know it sort of comes across that way, but try and digest the information like that. And another thing I was going to say is there was a really good comment from an old friend of ours in Facebook the other day. That the ferry always comes back to the terminal to pick up more passengers. It's not always necessarily the case.
No.
Everyone always thinks, okay, and this could be a great example. We're talking about a potential low. It could go to here, but as our mate said, the ferry might not come back. Okay,
That's
so
right.
I always see a lot of comments in Discord and Facebook. Unify was another great example. Everyone was like, okay, I'm putting my buy orders at $7, $6.50, $8, and it bounced off like $9.50 and went back to $13, and everyone was like, really, people that were commenting were like really disappointed. I understand that that's whole part of trading, and everyone likes to like try and find good entries in that, but just it's one of those. It's a hard one. It's a win-loss sort of situation.
It is. You just have to be content.
Always be content. That was the word I was looking for. Be content for where your entries are, and the same goes for an exit. I have people that were messaging me going, "Oh, I got out $11 or 65,000 sats on Unify, and it went to 80, and they were okay. They were content about it. So just always remember that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's always going to be more opportunities as well, especially like we've said this a few times, what we're seeing in the market. So don't stress about missing some good trades or not having the best entry or not having the best exits. As long as you made something, we're moving on, and then we'll catch some more in future for sure.
And don't overtrade. Don't try and take every single trade, because you'll be fried. Okay, let's jump into the next one. We've only got two that we're talking about today. So this one is 4. Current ranking on the CMC is 396. It's sitting around $1.90, and it's 107 sats. Sorry, I just had to check something there. So it failed the 125 sat push. It's currently consolidating at the moment, but it is a new token on Binance. So as always, we've gone over this before. With our CryptoStat, the data that we use, it is hard to go back on some like history data, but it looks okay. So 102 Bitcoin trading volume. It has had 4 pings, but it did have a trade notification come in for a sell around that 136. So the sell was at 136. Now we've sort of got some pings coming through at that 107 sat range. Still around 6 out of 10 for the rating on it.
Yeah.
Let's pull up a chart and have a look.
Yeah, and the reason why it's a 6 out of 10 is because it's so new. There's nothing really there's not much on it as well. And once again, similar scenario to CRV here. We feel like, okay, it's coming really high. It's bounced off a few times, come down, and now it's just kind of consolidating here, sitting down. It consolidated for a while, and then it pushed and it failed this 125, 124 sat range. So right now what we're saying, but the volume's jumped up. Volume's jumped up like 400%. And if you had CryptoStat data, you could have seen that and that push out. But, this could potentially, the books are so thin on this thing, even though there's so much of a supply, the books are just they're not halted. Like, you look at VET and there's like 10 Bitcoin at every sat level, single sat level up, 10, 15 BTC worth of, sellers and buys. And yeah, a lot of people go in and smash them, and it just, it jumps up and down. But with this one here, it doesn't seem like there's much on there. So just be wary of that as well. If it does a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, be happy and take it out, because you can have exactly what happened here and it fell. So, just be content with that as well. That's on the hourly. If we go any higher, it just becomes a mess. Like, there's not really much on it. It's similar to Unify as well. When I went on the daily, there was nothing to see when we did the video. It was like this. It was pretty empty. But, on the daily side of things, it looks good, even if it was to touch this and sort of start to build its actual chart and then, make its way up. Look, even the MACD, once again, cannot be produced because we just don't have it through the 12, 26, and 9 closes. So, yeah, for me, On this one, 6 out of 10 because it's so new. We don't have much data on it, but just keep an eye on those order books and keep an eye on that volume as well because yeah, it has a chance to push Kurt for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I just had to make an edit there. I apologize. I said it was $1.90. It's actually 2 cents, so 1.9. I think it was.
Yeah, 1.9 cents.
My
Yeah.
apology. Sorry.
No,
There's a lot going on when we're compiling all this information, so sometimes we make some mistakes. But I corrected it, so that's what's
yeah.
important.
Yeah, no, definitely. You've said it there anyway. It's 1.9 cents on the sheet, so you're all good on that.
Yeah.
That thing is just what your mind processed.
Yeah, my processing. maybe that's what I'm hoping it goes to. I don't know. That'd be an epic.
That's like 100.
Yeah, I do have this crystal ball over here, but the batteries are flat on it at the moment, so who knows? I'll put some new ones in. All right, guys. I suppose that's it for today. So thank you for joining us. As always, please like and subscribe to our channel. We have cracked over the 1,000 subscribers, so we really appreciate everyone that's been following our content and being part of our community. We love doing this for you guys every Monday and Friday. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and look forward to seeing you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend and take care.
Yeah, for sure. Take care, guys. Cheers, Kurt. Bye.